Right? So now people look at you, it's like, what? You're going to do? You spend 20 minutes saying, La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, whatever. The day of judgment, you will be laughing at them. I was like, you know what was 10 minutes? How many 10 minutes I waste? 4 things. 10 slaves. Allah will give you the reward of freeing 10 slaves. Number 2, 100 good deeds, 100 sins. And number 4, protection from shaitan the whole day till you say it in the evening. And nobody will be better than you unless I say 100, you say 200. How many of us does it? None. Who's the loser? Does Allah need my 100 times? Or yours? Or us? No. Remember this. This is why I love it. For example, Subhanallah wa bihamdih. How much it took from me to say Subhanallah wa bihamdih? I just said it. How long it took me? I said this to the youth on the weekend. And all of them, one breath. That's exactly how it is. By the way, teaching you is way easier than teaching those boys. Ah, Ya Allah. May Allah help everybody who has a teenager. How long it took me. Because I asked them. They said, one breath. He was right. You know what will happen? In Jannah, 1 tree is already planted for you. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. 1. Plant. And I paid nothing. And I spent nothing. Nothing changed. You can be doing whatever you are doing, and subhanallah wa bihamdi. 3rd one. And this is Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. He said, لأن أسبح الله تعالى تسبيحات أحب إلي من أن أنفق عددهم دنانير في سبيل الله. Now 2 good deeds of worship. 2. Charity or dhikr. And he's saying, for me, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he said, if I said Subhanallah wa bihamdi, way more beloved to me than I go and spend 10 dinars. 10 dinars these days like close to probably 1,000, more than $1,000. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. How many of us does that? Why we don't do it? We don't think of it. We don't. Versus one of my friends, subhanallah, was like in the beginning when the smartphones coming out, she used to send herself notification, 2 of them. One says in the morning, please don't disobey Allah today. And the second one, please remember Allah. You need this reminder. We need somebody to remind. And I don't know if I shared this with you. This is true story. Okay. So this is a driver, my friend driver, who when I go to Jeddah, he always come and pick me up from the airport. Usually takes me to Mecca. So this is the first time he comes and pick me up. His name is Ali. And I was exhausted after this long trip. So I was literally dozing. And every time when you wake up, you're still in the road. Ali is either La ilaha illallah, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. The whole trip. 1 hour. 1 hour. And this man, if you only know his life, or his story, or his wife, La ilaha illallah. And I used to call him Ali al-Dhakir, because she had 2 drivers. And I was like, Ali is going to come and pick you up. I said, Ali al-Dhakir? She said, yes. And I was like, Ya Allah, this man, I don't know what education he has. I have no idea. I don't know if he really can read and write. I don't know. But subhanAllah, in the sight of Allah, every time I'm with him in the car, you know what? He's going to be probably way ahead of you in Jannah than me. Because he's always in dhikr of Allah. Always. SubhanAllah, Alhamdulillah. How are you? I asked him, Ali, how is your family? Ya Rah. Oh, Alhamdulillah, khair wa ni'ma. Alhamdulillah, barakah. Alhamdulillah. This is dhikr, by the way. When you say Alhamdulillah is dhikr. When you say SubhanAllah is dhikr. When you say Astaghfirullah is dhikr. How are you good? I tell them, what does good mean? They all look at me. I was like, I know what does good mean. Why not you say Alhamdulillah? It's dhikr. Why do you say thank you? Why not Jazakillahu khair? Between us. Don't you want to pray for me? Oh, this is dhikr. I'm praying for you, praying for me. A man came to Al-Hasan al-Basri. He said, Ya Aba Sa'id, ashku ilayka qaswata qalbi. I feel my heart is hard. Hard. Meaning, I don't know why. You know what's the sign of a hard heart? Any idea? Yes.
You can't cry.
You can't cry, for example. That's usually. 2, huh?
You don't feel bad when you sin.
You don't feel bad when you sin? Your salah, you feel nothing. Nothing. You know the robot movement? I don't know what I read. My heart is hard. 4th, when I see scenes that should move me, meaning like what you see coming out from Gaza, or, right? Okay, khalas, you got used to it. Hard heart. So he came to him and he says, Ashku laka qaswata qalbi. I feel my heart is hard. Qala, look at the word he used. Addibhu bil-dhikr. Discipline your heart by the remembrance of Allah. Discipline it. So here you go, and people tell me, I don't feel when I am praying. I said, do a lot of istighfar. Just ask Allah for forgiveness, right? I feel I'm getting weaker. I'm leaning toward what I shouldn't. I know I'm going this way, Astaghfirullah. Ya Allah qawini. These are all dhikr. This is all dua. And the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam said, and this is in al-Bukhari, he said, the parable of the person, she or a he, who remembers Allah, and the person who doesn't remember Allah is the parable of the dead and alive. Dead and we're all alive. But how many of us, our hearts are alive? It's the answer is how much I'm doing of dhikr. And a man came to Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, the acts of worship became too much on me. SubhanAllah, when I read this, I was like, at that time they found it's too much. May Allah help us. He said, إن أبواب الخير كثيرة ولا أستطيع القيام بها. The doors of goodness too many and I cannot do it. Tell me one thing, bottom line, one thing that I will be able to hold on it and I am not going to be not able to do it. And don't tell me too many. I can't believe he said this to Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. But he's honest, he knows his ability. Just one thing and I'm done. And he said, لا يزال لسانك رطبا بذكر الله. Keep your tongue moist with the remembrance of Allah. Keep your tongue moist. Make sure, practical tips. Because again, we get taken away and we get busy. Make sure when you're talking, there's always the word of Allah in it. Always something about it. Subhanallah. La ilaha illallah. Oh, mashallah. Ya Allah, may Allah give me. Always, that's dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of my friends, her email was hacked. You know this email? People hack and then you start sending email to all your list saying, I'm stuck in whatever, in Nigeria and I lost all my money, send me money. You know this? Have you ever? I had it so many times. So one of her friend and her husband, right, responded to that email saying, you are not her. You didn't say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanallah. Yes. And you didn't end it with the word of Allah. You're a liar. You stop. I'll report you to the FBI. Wallahi, I couldn't believe it. I read it. I was like, Subhanallah. See, Subhanallah. Are we that person? Are we that person that we always, bottom line, names of Allah, praising Allah, asking for forgiveness, reading Quran inside Salah, the best dhikr you do. That's the highest level. A+ is you read Quran inside Salah. Meaning, you're not a hafiz, you don't know much of Salah. Just do 2 rak'at extra. May Allah forgive me, I'm just doing 2. Right? But then you put your Quran in front of you and just read. Just read. And time yourself. How many of you, it's okay. I'm just going to ask. I want to move you up. How many of you read 1 page in the ruk'ah? Ever read 1 page in the ruk'ah? If you always have done it, then it's time to go to 2. If you have never done it, start. Takes less than 5 minutes, by the way. Because you're not going to be reading it with tajweed. You're in salah, you're just reading it. But it's going to prolong your salah. And this is the best act of dhikr. قراءة أفضل الذكر قراءة القرآن في الصلاة. قراءة القرآن في الصلاة. The most famous person who read the Quran, all of it, in 1 rak'ah. Who was that? You don't know. Yes, Sayyidina Uthman. He was seen in the half circle behind the Kaaba, right? So they saw him. How did they know he was reading Quran? Because they did not see him move except he goes for sajda. Goes for sajda and come back and keep standing. That means he's reaching verses where you need to prostrate to Allah, and he is doing it. The whole Quran. How long it takes you? Now for you it's eternity. Right? If you read the whole Quran, how long it takes you? In 1 setting. It's 8 hours usually. The average reading is 8 hours. And if you read the Quran fluent, you're not struggling in reading, you read fluent, it takes you 8 hours. Imagine he's standing 8 hours. What heart they had. 5 minutes we cannot do it. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدَ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. And then people argue with me, but it is 1/3 of the Quran. I was like, Subhanallah. That's the only hadith that you know. Right? Yeah, it is. Of course, I can't argue. It is 1/3 of the Quran. But so the most important thing is prolong your salah by reading Quran inside salah. There is nothing will get you closer to him, more beloved, better than his own words. Give you an example. Someone texts you, right? And that person you love. Of course, you keep reading this text. Doesn't matter who that person. Halal, bi'idhnillah. And you keep reading it, right? You keep reading it. And then you see that person and you say something from what they texted you. What impact you put on that person. Turn it around, it's you. You send text message to somebody and that person, the first time they look at you and they say something you say. You all are smiling because it brings joy in us. Imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when I'm reading the Quran, yes, it's an act of worship. Yes, I'm getting rewards. Yes, I'm getting closer to Allah. But He's seeing me reading His words. Nothing will bring me closer to Him than reading His word. And this is the last words to Sayyidina Uthman. It was at the door of the Quran school I studied in. He said, لو طهرت قلوبنا ما شبعت من كلام ربنا. If our hearts were pure, we will never have enough of the words of Allah. When you say, I don't feel like I want to read Quran, I don't feel it when I read Quran, the problem is not the Quran, hasha lillah. The problem is not the environment, the problem is me, is my heart. If I'm working on it and I am trying to clean it with all what we are learning, alhamdulillah, you will never get bored from reading the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of the people who listen to the word of admonition and follow the best of it. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabi tasliman kathira.